What if I told you that in all our searching of the cosmos, we heard something truly strange just once? A powerful, intelligent-seeming signal that lasted for a mere 72 seconds, and then just went silent, forever. Was it just a random blip, a cosmic coincidence? Or was it the one call we've all been waiting for? This is the story of the incredible, unexplained wow signal. You know, the whole mystery, this entire saga, it all started with a single word. Wow. That's it. Just scribbled in red pen on a huge sheet of computer paper. The man who wrote it was Dr. Jerry Ehman, an astronomer who, back in '77, saw something in the data so stunning, so completely out of the blue, that wow was all he could manage to write. And with that one word, the most mysterious signal we've ever picked up from space got its name. So where did this whisper from the stars actually come from? To really get what makes it so special, we've got to go all the way back to the beginning. Back to that quiet summer night when it all happened. Okay, picture this. It's August 15th, 1977. At Ohio State University, the Big Ear radio telescope is doing its thing, just quietly listening to the universe night after night. But then, out of nowhere, an incredibly strong, focused signal hits the receiver, coming from the direction of the constellation Sagittarius. Here's the kicker, though. Nobody was there to hear it live. It wasn't until the next day that Dr. Ehman was looking over the printouts and realized that something absolutely extraordinary had been recorded. And this is what he saw. Look at that code, 6EQJ5. Now, to you and me, that looks like total gibberish, right? But for an astronomer, that sequence tells a story. Each letter and number stands for the signal's intensity. And this specific sequence shows a signal that starts low, skyrockets in strength, and then fades away perfectly. We're talking a spike 30 times stronger than the normal background hum of space. It was so unbelievably off the charts that Ehman just grabbed his pen, circled it, and wrote that now famous word. Wow. So why all the fuss? I mean, space is noisy, right? Why was this one signal so special? Well, when you start to dig into the details, the clues, it begins to look less like a random accident and a whole lot more like something that was, designed. The very first clue is the frequency, 1420 megahertz. Now, that is not a random number. That is the exact frequency of neutral hydrogen, which just so happens to be the most abundant element in the entire universe. Scientists have this nickname for it. They call it the water hole. It's this quiet, protected band on the cosmic radio dial. The theory has always been that if any intelligent civilization wanted to send a message across the stars, that's where they'd broadcast. It's the universal calling card. And bam, that's exactly where the wow signal showed up. And then there's just the raw power of the thing. If you think of the normal background static of space as a 1 on the volume dial, the wow signal cranked it all the way up to 30. It was like a sudden, piercing shout in an otherwise silent library. It was just way too loud and way too focused to be any kind of natural object we know of. And get this, the timing was just perfect. The signal lasted for exactly 72 seconds. Why is that number so important? Well, that's the precise amount of time that the Big Ear telescope, with the Earth rotating, could stay locked onto a single point in the sky. It rose, peaked, and fell over exactly 72 seconds. It's almost like a cosmic lighthouse beam swept right past us, and we just happened to be looking at that exact moment. All of this really points to one conclusion. This thing was not from around here. The signal's profile, that perfect, clean curve as it got stronger and then weaker, it just doesn't match a satellite passing by or some kind of interference from Earth. All the evidence pointed to it coming from deep space, somewhere way out there in the direction of Sagittarius. Now, with all this incredible evidence lining up, you'd think this would be the start of a whole new era for humanity, right? But the story of the wow signal isn't a story of first contact. It's the story of a call that was never answered. Which leads us, of course, to the absolute biggest question of them all, the one that has kept scientists and stargazers up at night for decades. Did we ever hear it again? The answer, in a word, is no. Never. It showed up once for 72 seconds, and then poof, it was gone. A complete and total cosmic ghost. And it wasn't for a lack of trying, believe me. Astronomers around the world immediately swung their telescopes back to that exact same spot in the sky. They listened for months, then for years, then for decades.
They ruled out every possible man-made source they could think of. And the result, every single time, was the same: absolute silence.
So, what in the world was it? If it never repeated, what could it have been? The silence that came after the wow signal has basically turned into a giant cosmic guessing game, with theories that run the gamut from the totally mundane to the truly extraordinary.
So let's line up the suspects. Could it have been a natural object, maybe a pulsar or something? No, the signal was way too narrow, too focused on one frequency. Natural objects are usually messy broadcasters. Okay, how about a radio signal from Earth that bounced off some space debris? Unlikely. The signal was just too clean, too strong, and the profile was all wrong. People even suggested it was a passing comet, but later tests pretty much ruled that out. So as you start crossing all these other suspects off the list, you're left with the one explanation that, well, still fits all the evidence we have: an extraterrestrial beacon.
So, where does that leave us? Here we are, almost 5 decades later, and the wow signal has become so much more than just an old piece of data. It's a symbol of just how much we still have to learn, a real icon of cosmic mystery.
And I want to be super clear about this. We've detected other weird signals from space over the years, for sure. But the wow signal is just on another level. It is, to this day, the single most compelling piece of evidence we have ever found in our search for extraterrestrial intelligence. Nothing else has ever come close to ticking all the right boxes.
And its legacy is just huge. It was a direct inspiration for movies like Contact and legendary shows like Cosmos. It lit a fire under generations of scientists to keep searching, to keep listening. It even led to new projects, like the Wow Signal Revisited project in 2022, to rescan that same patch of sky with brand new tech. But more than anything, it's this powerful, constant reminder that we are still out here listening.
And so, we're left with this one profound question. The wow signal is a riddle, written in a language we don't understand, from a source we can't identify. But if we ever do hear that whisper again, what's our next move? Should we answer the call?